Hi guys, and welcome back to Teaching with Miss T. I am Michelle, and let's get started with today's video. Okay, so I am a firm believer of creating hands-on activities that children will remember and grab the concept that they learn while doing it. So I decided to incorporate a book tasting whenever it was time for us to start our book club. So basically during book clubs, students get together with other students in their class, and then they talk about the book. They kind of write sticky notes and just kind of write a lot of read and collaborate about the book with their peers. So it's a great idea to get them engaged in their reading and actually kind of be. So whenever I realized that I was supposed to teach about book clubs, I decided to go on Pinterest, because what teacher doesn't do that? So I came across a book tasting, and then I kind of looked more into it, and then I decided, yes, I want to do this. So basically I turned our classroom into this fancy restaurant where kids were seated as they walked in a table, and then I was at first I was the host, and then I turned into a chef and brought them little snacks and treats that they could enjoy while tasting their books. Okay, so coincidentally, my class does reading right after special, so I had that special time to set up the classroom. So what I did is I got tablecloths from the dollar store, and I just got the white checkered picnic table. So I got that, and then I got some paper plates, and then I took a water bottle and put a rose and a flower on it, and that was our centerpiece. And then I also bought the little candle lights that light up from a Dollar Tree, and then put one on each side. And that was my setup for our fancy dinner. And then as students arrived, I called them by their reading level. So basically I just said their name, and I was like, blah 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 blah, I will escort you to your table, or your reservations already, or something like that. I don't remember. Just take them there, and then have them sit down, ask them to wait for their waitress to come around. And then they were obviously amazed, and they're like, whoa, and we all want to do that. So they were very excited, and I did that with everyone, and I just kind of separated them by reading levels, because that's what I had available. You could just do any setup, or just have them sit what they normally sit, but I thought that actually having a list and calling their name was interesting, so I did that. And then when they got and sat down, I went ahead and showed them their menu. So this was basically the menu that I had. So it has our class name, book tasting, and then a little picture, and this blank was for their name. And then I just had these setting where they were sitting, so they could kind of see it, but I asked them not to touch anything until I told them. So I had them open it up, and then over here you're going to see the directions. So they were first supposed to look at the book that I was going to give them. Then they would decide if they would like to read that or not by tasting it. So what tasting meant was that they opened up the book, looked at a couple pages, read a page or two, looked at the images if they had any images, and kind of look at the back of the book and look at the summary, and then decide if that's something they would be interested in. And then they will fill out this information, and then I think I had them have 3 to 4 minutes. It might have been 5. I really don't remember. But they had, I think, 5 minutes. Maybe. I don't remember. Oh, okay, but they had a certain amount of time that I gave them, and then we would switch, and they would just switch counterclockwise or clockwise, whatever you decide, with someone on their table. So we had 5 books. So we had 5 books, and I had them in groups of 4 just to make it look like a table. So the 5th book, they kind of just got up and got a book that they hadn't reviewed yet. So that's what we did. And then in the booklet or their menu, they have the book name, the author, their rating from 1 to 10. And so what did they give it? 10 being the very best book they've ever seen, and then 1 something not very interesting. And then would they pick this would you like to read this book? Yes or no, circle it, and why. And then they would give me a little explanation of why they would like to read it or why not. And then we would switch, and then once that was complete, pick their top 3, so they just had to write the name of the book and the author, and that was it. And that is how I decided who was going to be reading what. So basically everyone got their first choice. I did groups of like 4 or 5 depending on the book or what they wanted. I had like 3 students. Well, I had 5 students in both of my classes, and that was like over 40 students that didn't got their second or third choice because the others were too packed already. But basically everyone got what they wanted. So that's how they decided on a book they read. Before we did do, like I told them who they were going to be with, I did make sure to tell them that everyone was interested in that same book. So I did not want to hear any complaining about being with someone they don't work with, or if they're like really good friends. I didn't want to have to separate them because I wanted them to read what they wanted. So it ended up working amazingly. Students were very interested, and they liked how they had that little experience of picking what book they want. So the way I made it was that students did not look at their reading level, in this case, what book they wanted. If it was something interested, they would just get it. So I kind of got the on-level books, not anything too hard for them, just in case there was like a low-level student who wanted to read a really high-level book. So I kind of just took those out, and since it was towards the end of the year, what mattered was that they were reading. So you could do it that way, so where you don't look at what reading level they are, or you could do it where, like, since I set them with their reading level, you could have just given them different books of that level, and then they got to pick one from there. The book that was picked the most would be the one that everyone would read. So you could do it different ways. I loved it. Like I said, I am a firm believer of giving students opportunities to kind of do fun activities. So while this was happening, I had a fireplace on the projector with some classical music, so the kids were like, turn on the fire, for like a week or something after that, because they loved it, they enjoyed it. And then I was also serving them little snacks, so I had like goldfish and like it was a tasting, so it wasn't a full course meal, so I would give them a few snacks. They really enjoyed it. And if you're going to be doing book clubs in your classroom, I hope you're able to turn your classroom into a book tasting restaurant. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you plan to do this in your classroom, let me know. If you've already done it, let me know and tell me how it went. If you enjoy this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.